I'm in the bar, so I get to get a little bit of TV, and this is cracking me up because I remember Starkist being Chicken of the Sea, 100%. It was Starkist, and now Chicken of the Sea has its own brand.
Well, this is crazy.
I'm with Danny on this one. What's his name?
H. Beam Piper. He was literally one of the first science fiction writers to come up with alternate reality, alternate timeline stories.
Cool.
Back in the day, unfortunately, he was a brilliant writer. His books were beloved, especially his Little Fuzzy series. But his agent kept siphoning off his money and telling him his books weren't selling. And the poor gentleman committed suicide, thinking that he was a failure and not a author.
Wow, I'm glad I got his name on here. I'm definitely going to look him up.
Or you got Eric Licensure. I always screw up his last name, British author. He created a story just after World War II called A Logic Named Joe, which is basically a story about Google. A terminal in your house where you can ask it any question. Except it loses its sensor, and people can type into it and ask, like, how to commit the perfect murder, and it would tell them.
Oh, God.
Or how to make $1 million and tell you how to counterfeit money successfully. In the chaos that a direct access information system
was taken out by the consortium of governments.
That's funny.
Oh, dude, man, I got
so when I see
even the authors that most people have never read, but they're
great stuff. I have this young lady telling me that Jackie Kennedy and there you go, they were switched. She's saying when she watched it live on TV, that Jackie was behind the driver's. No, Kennedy was behind the driver when she watched it live. That's what she's saying. She's swearing it too. She's pretty adamant about it.
We watched it on TV in Germany, and I remember her climbing over him, and the whole side of her was soaked in his blood, and Secret Service came up over the trunk, grabbed her by the hands, and pulled her over the trunk out of the car.
Oh, wow. I've never seen that, but they pulled her out live.
She went to the hospital in her pink outfit that was bloody and got on Air Force One with his body bloody, and she refused to change her clothes when the vice president was sworn in as president. She was at
with that same dressing?
Yes, with all the blood. She was
really?
Yes, she was at the swearing in of the vice president, in her bloody outfit. She refused to change.
Wow, that is so interesting. Things I did not know.
Just a quickie here. I was at the bar. It's May 25th, Friday, early morning. Last night at the bar, I had a guy go, "Hey, I got one for you, Anthony." He says, "What's that?" He says, "Domino's Pizza sign changed." So I'm picturing it in my head, and I'm picturing 1 red, 2 blue. And they look like dice to me, not dominoes, which makes no sense. You'd think they were dominoes.
To me, they were
But
dice.
it was 2 squares. I mean, look, I was practically brought up in a casino. To me, they were dice. Never dawned on me that they were a domino, and multicolored domino at that. But because they were 2 colors, I always thought they were dice. And it was a 1 and a 2. 1 red, 2 blue, 2 and blue rhymed. I wasn't going to forget that. That's how I remembered it. And it's funny because not long ago, I was looking at a Domino's pizza sign thinking, well, that hasn't changed. Now, I still have to do more research on this, and I'm still talking to other people about it. But what I'm seeing is that it's totally red. The 1 and the 2 are both red, and Domino's is in blue. So I got to do some more research on that. I've done the research on the Domino's Pizza, and what I've come up with is, for me, now I worked for Domino's Pizza in the 90s, mid-90s. And apparently they have just changed the sign in 2012, around that time, to one red, two blue. But for me, it's always been one red, two blue. Always from the beginning, from the time they first came out, whenever it was, it's always been one red, two blue. The point is, for me, it's always been one red, two blue, and apparently they just changed it to that. That's what I've come up with there, and that's weird. And another thing, the forgetfulness thing that I mentioned it coming up. I'm surprised more of us aren't having memory issues. And that's not coming up. Because that should be a part of it. If we're shifting into another timeline where we're noticing changes and our past is different, there could be other things we're forgetting. So, hey, enjoy these. These are personal blogs that I really had no intention of putting out. I just kind of did them like I normally do them. It's basically on things that have been happening through the process or stopping to quit. And I'll tell you right now, these are a month old, so you're watching later stuff, but never been published. You don't want to do this stuff all at once. You don't want to do everything direct. I mean, the things that I weaned myself off of, I'm not having a problem with. And now the things like when I just went to that day and said, okay, everything's done, it wasn't going to happen. You can't do it that way. Another thing I noticed, I spoke with Photo Helix, and he said there's one thing you're not going to be able to recreate if you're trying to recreate the things that happened back then, and that is you weren't really looking for it. No, it wasn't. And I had the epiphany of realizing something that I believed my whole life wasn't true. So, and that's what I need to look for, that. So it might not necessarily be. And the other thing, I was having just under a 6-pack a week and smoking, I think, a pack of cigarettes every 3 days. That was back then. And I remember weaning myself off down to that. And I'm like, well, I have to at least do that, right? I mean, if I'm going to create the exact same thing, I was going overboard, doing too much or trying to do too much, and just focusing on physical reality brought me physical reality, and the drama that comes with it. And now I'm actually slowly weaning myself back into at least paying more attention to the shifts, the changes. There's a couple of channels I'm going to be listening to a little bit more often. But getting away from the electronics, I really find to be freeing. All right, I don't even know how to start this off. As you can see, I'm not prepared here to do like a video. I feel like there should be. I'm going to say that's better. I would still probably usually sit here for 10 minutes and straighten everything out, but I really want to box it all up and give it to the highest bidder. I've been writing things down. I got 2 phones. I found my old one after I bought the new one, and neither of them are working properly at all. I can get a call out once in a while. One doesn't say emergency calls only on one of the phones. The other one, I don't even bother. One phone I can get text, the other one I can't. And it's just, I've been putting it down anyway. And a lot of times I'm running things through my head to remember to get home to write down. And I almost feel like that's got to go too. I almost feel like I'm missing out on the experience because I'm so worried about reporting. You'll see a couple of videos. I still do interviews at the bar. Still trying to promote my book, sell the book. No, I'm trying to get the information out. That's what I want to do. That's what I realize now. Thought it'd be easy just to get my money back on the book. It's not important. Not to me now. It was. Made some miscalculations. Whatever. Some things I wrote down. All right. I've talked with a couple of people about this. Done some of my own research. Domino's Pizza. Now, when I was in Mississippi almost 2 years ago, I always walked by a Domino's Pizza, thought about delivering for them part-time or whatever. And I said to myself, because we had, the red and blue changes going on. And I said, all right, well, it's 1 red, 2 blue. 2 and blue rhyme. I'm not going to forget that. 1 red, 2 blue. And every time I pass Domino's Pizza, that's what I always said. 1 red, 2 blue. Well, guess what? It's 1 red, 2 blue. But they're stating that the 1 red, 2 blue just came out in 2012. I did deliver for Domino's Pizza in the 90s, and it was 1 red, 2 blue. It's always been 1 red, 2 blue, and I always thought they were dice because it was 2 different colors. Now I realize it's a domino, because on the old symbol, which never existed for me, was all red. Anyway, okay, now this for me is a definite. It was never all red, just the domino part. It was never all red for me. It's always been 1 red, 2 blue. But now they're saying in the past it was all red. Kind of interesting twist there. Here's a big one for me. And I'm saying for me because I only asked one person. Could have been the same person. I asked 2 people. Now, the first person I asked, I said blank and the Chocolate Factory. And they got into how it was old and new. And I said, well, what is it? Is it the same for both? What is it? And the first person I asked said, the Johnny Depp version is called Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and the Gene Wilder version is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and that's what this is here, and that's why I asked, because for me, it's always been Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. I said, I went to the bar, there was a bar down there, there was a couple down there, I said, hey, blank and the Chocolate Factory. And the girl went, well, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. And I said, yeah. And she goes, oh, wait, but the new one came out, it was a different title. The new one came out, it was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And I said, that's exactly how I remember it. I remember it as Charlie and the Chocolate Factory back in the 70s, 60s, 70s. And this new one came out, and I remember it because it may have been a trigger point for me. When I saw it, when it first came out, I thought, oh, that's weird. They changed it to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, and I kind of get that, because back then Charlie was the star of the movie, and now it would be Johnny Depp playing the part of the Willy Wonka. So for me, no, this one was always Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and the guy still dies every 10 years for me. So it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and the Johnny Depp version was Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. And now in this timeline, it has switched for me, and it's a 100%er. I don't, a 99.8. It's still a 100%er for me. But as I've noticed, people are seeing changes, and more people are saying, no, that's the way it's always been. But you still got to go with the quantum and infinite. If you're going quantum and infinite, it could have been that way for them. And now, like what happened to me with the Domino's thing, the change, it was in the past. Back then, back then, back in the 70s, I was watching HD TV. But it was only when a soap opera would come on. Soap operas would come on, it was HD. And I'm thinking on it now. I'm looking at HD TV, and I'm like, they think that's good. That looks like a soap opera. That was probably 5 years ago when I thought about all that. And see more computer stuff. Look, I got 2 phones, neither work. I took the internet off here, figuring out if I needed it, I can go elsewhere to get it. I can't. Not sure I'm going to finagle to get this up. I don't know how long it's going to be because I have a couple other videos that I videoed some people at the bar. My phone wasn't working. I did a 15-minute video and only got, I think it was 4 seconds. Dunkin' Donuts. Now, I got this off of Scarab Performances Monday, Mandel on Monday. I watched it last night, which was Wednesday night. Is that right? Or this morning? I may have got up early this morning and watched it. I'm just not getting on. I'm just not, and I feel it. And there is something to this. I'll get to that. Watched, and I wasn't going, and I thought, you know what, I put on the usual distractions, and I'm just not doing it. I've gotten away from it. I've already started some of the things I wanted to get away from before the full moon, and as the full moon came in, I got rid of some more. Keeping it to myself, whatever. Just in case I fail. Can't do it. Can't do it now. I'm writing a book on it. Can't do it. But the thing is, it has a lot to do with the beliefs. So your beliefs are going to pull in your reality, and it's going to show you yes or no or whatever. So doesn't matter if it's true, false, real. It matters what you believe. So I got a few things here. Two. Dunkin', I had a bunch of others from that Monday night show. I thought I was writing them down. Apparently not. I kept trying to answer live. The thing's 4 days old, right? Dunkin' Donuts. I got to tell you, Nobleness D, I love his passion. I was cracking up at the end of that. He's spouting out other proofs that it was Dunkin' Donuts. And I get it. I'm with you. I'm with you, Noble. But for me, the Mandela effect in Dunkin' Donuts is the word donuts. I always thought it was strange. I worked in a bakery down the street from Dunkin' Donuts, and a lot of people came in for our donuts because we didn't use fake stuff. D, I know this is going to sound weird because I write it down. It looks weird, but the word looks right because it's longer to me. D-O-U-N-U-T-S. D-O-U-N-U-T-S. And I always thought it was weird that it was a U on each side of the N. And I mentioned this in 2015 on the Mandela Effect site at Donuts. And I might have spelled it 3 different ways, but the way they had it spelled, D-O-N-U-N-T-S, just does not look right to me. It looks proper to me, but it doesn't look like the way they spelled it. So I definitely figured there was a change on Dunkin' Donuts. But the big one for me was verbatim. Scarab asked for everybody to spell verbatim. And I was screaming because some people were spelling it V-E-R-B-A-T-I-M. Some people were spelling it V-E-R-B-A-T-U-M. I've always spelled it my whole life V-E-R-B-A-T-I-U-M. Both of them. I-U-M. Verbatim. And if there was only one, it was a U. But I always remember I-U-M. It was cracking me up because nobody went both on the show. At least they didn't say if that was the case. But the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory for me is a 100%er. Back when it was first made, it was Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Oh, and I was talking with Photo Helix, and he was doing some research on that and found a bunch of discrepancies with the book title and when the book came out and all these other dates, and he was just going on. I was like, I couldn't really follow because there was just too much. He definitely felt that, well, there's definitely something here, definitely something going on. Thanks a lot for listening. Had one famous person purchase my book. Thrilled by that. That was pretty cool. He got my autograph. I didn't get his. Didn't matter. I didn't know who he was the whole time. I'm going to put out a couple more vids here that I just happen to randomly be taking. I keep thinking it's going to be less and less because it's twofold here. I need to experience it rather than record it, and I want to share it. How do I do that? Today is the May 31st. Oh, there you go. Full moon, May 31st. This will be my last video for a while, at least until the next full moon. I've been talking about doing this for over 2 years. I was looking at some of my past videos that I throw up for you guys, and I'm talking about it then. You know, I'm apparently in a loop because I don't remember talking about it that long. But I do remember back then trying to figure out, hey, what's the next step?
So I've started what I believe is things I need to do to experience some of the things I experienced and experience more. And right from the start, I mean, some of the things aren't easy and some of them are nothing. But right from the start, I realized one of the things I'm missing is I want to share. I want to share some of the experiences, some of the things I'm seeing. I'm going different places. I have more time. Works better. I'm in better spirits. I mean, we're talking 2-3 days. Actually, I've also decided to do this from full moon to full moon. That's so I started before the full moon, but I'm going to the full moon. I said it was going to be 2-3 weeks, and that's how that's going to go. But let me share this. That's the other thing. Am I really sharing it? I mean, I'm sharing it with you guys, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I am deep in the middle of the Rockies. Some places I haven't been before. I just think that it's just beautiful. It's beautiful out here. But that's it. Am I really sharing? Yeah, I'm sharing with you guys. I'm out here alone. I love the solitude. I love what I'm feeling. I'm gonna keep it going, and I'll do little clips like this. But I can't say. It's hard to say. Am I going to post? You know, I may or may not. I'll see what I got. I'm not going to be picking up the camera. I got to tell you, there's so many times now where I'm like, oh, I wish I had my camera on me, because it's just amazing, some of the things. What's with all the amnesia? Fine, I'm just going to talk this out. I mean, I don't know how else to do it. You know, what is with all the amnesia? Why don't we know who we are, where we came from, or anything else? It's all speculation. Some of it might be experience, but it's still going to be speculation on your ideas on the experience. Apparently my Paul is Dead book isn't going to be complete. I've been kicking around having it printed, maybe 9 or 10 of them. 9 seems to be a big number in that one. And I was going to finish it up, clean it up real good, and just maybe sell it to order if people actually wanted it. I was going to just make a couple copies for myself. But I can't now because Paul McCartney's coming out with a new LP. And I was telling, just the other day I was thinking, and you know what? Here we go. Just the other day I was thinking, hey, Paul McCartney hasn't come out with an album in a while. Not even a classical album. So he's about due. And voila. So that's that.
Cracks me up, you know. Me and Guy were talking about how it could be personal. Like some of the messages seem like it's personal. Sometimes the Mandela effect does something personal, you know. And yeah, to get your attention. And I'm going to be banking off, so I expect to see more. And you know, I keep thinking, wow, I should really carry my phone around. The whole idea of what I'm doing is to experience life without my phone, without the computer, without the internet, you know, without TV. without meat, without cigarettes, without alcohol. These are all things that are all, whatever it is for you, it is for you. And that's the thing. I'm kind of doing everything at once. Not true, because I've already started with some things, like I said. But I'm really getting into writing again, and I'm just writing, and it's. But see, I'm writing on the computer, and I was talking to the guy about that. It's so much more personal when you write with your hand, and to me, it feels like it's coming more from the heart. Now, I did get that from somebody. I have no clue where or who or what timeline I got that from, because that's what seems to happen. That happened to me back in 15. I talk about it in the book. I was getting messages, and then boom, they're gone. The stuff wasn't there anymore.
Yeah, this at the bar doesn't count as my hour a week I get.
So I did not finish that Burger King story. And yeah, stuff is already falling all over the place. Mr. Osteen here. And I heard there was somebody downstairs on a TV show. They said, yeah, Joel Osteen. They pronounced it Osteen. Anyway, I walked up to the store, that Burger King, put my hand on the door, saw people inside and everything. A couple days later, I go by, they're building the foundation. A week later, from that, I'm talking to a friend of mine, describing where I live. They're going to come over, a bunch of people are coming over, whatever, and I'm telling him. And he says, oh, a block from the Burger King. I said, yeah, the one they're building. He says, the one they're building another Burger King over there? That's kind of weird. He goes, where are you talking about? I told him where. He says, what are you talking about? That's been there a year. So as soon as I get out of work, I go over there, and lo and behold, the building is standing there. I go in, I got a fish sandwich, I sat down. And I sit down randomly, and I'm looking at this thing on the wall, and it says this guy had the first burger at this Burger King, and he's had the first burger at the last 6 Burger Kings built in Mississippi or in that area or something. I'm just like, yeah, it wasn't enough that I was trying to convince myself that that wasn't the Burger King, when the foundation was like, oh, maybe it wasn't this Burger King. I was trying to convince myself of that. And then it's the foundation. Then I go back and the Burger King's back. You're not going to get around that. I'm not.
Now, where are you driving now?
I was driving to Billings from Denver, and I stopped in Sheridan, and I took a picture of the weather just to prove to my mom and everybody that the roads weren't bad. And I did not see this when I took the picture, but look at the blue orb that's there dancing.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a live picture, but so we think it was my dad.
The cleanse and all that. I'm calling it bullshit. It's about your beliefs, plain and simple. If I believe I need to quit some things, then that's what it's going to take. It was, now that I'm not totally clean, but I am cleansed, and there's still other things I'm doing. But I'm coming back on, because that's where my focus needs to be. I need to, look, there's a Mandela effect in the picture. Where's that? Over here. Yeah, I need to relax, change my perception, change what I believed was real, change my truth. That's what I'm looking for. As far as all I did was upset myself, make it harder. There are still things I'm doing because of that. I don't know if that's going to show up, but that is the moon that's going to be full in a day and a half. And let's see how that goes. Oh, people are going in. I got to serve. Now, where are you?
Blue orb that's there dancing.
Oh, wow.
And so it's a live picture, but so we think it was my dad.
So you painted a 7-pointed star out in front of your store.
Right.
And then
This is the most amazing geode I've ever seen in my whole life. And nobody gets out of here last. My friend found it in Zacatecas, Mexico. He popped it open.